You'd be surprised how many mistakes Amazon sellers are making when it comes to Amazon PPC. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 5 mistakes that Amazon sellers are making when creating their Amazon PPC campaigns and optimizing their campaigns. You can use all of this as a resource to empower you to improve what you're already doing, audit your current campaigns, and increase your profitability and sales. So let's get into it. Alright, so the very first mistake Amazon sellers are making when creating their Amazon PPC campaigns is having campaigns with thousands of keywords. Now, there's nothing wrong with potentially having thousands of keywords that are matching your product, but you don't want to add all 1,000 keywords right away. And the reason for that is because you're giving the Amazon PPC algorithm way too many variables to go off of when structuring, your bids in their auction. So you'll be showing up surely for all of these keywords, but you're not going to see any improvement really in sales because, if there's one keyword at the very bottom that's your most profitable, but you're not feeding it enough juice, that's going to happen when you have all of these keywords. Amazon's going to try to show impressions for thousands of keywords, but only a handful of those keywords are really going to be making you money. And what you should be doing is putting more effort into those keywords that are making you the most money and bringing you the most sales, as opposed to just putting 1,000 keywords, copy and paste. And a lot of sellers, what they're doing is their campaigns will have thousands of keywords, and sure that you can get a few sales here and there, but that's no way to scale your campaigns. So look at what your campaigns are at right now. And if you already have, a few campaigns with 1,000 keywords, go ahead and trim that down, right? Trim it down and have no more than 100 keywords. Usually I recommend no more than 50, but if you have thousands of keywords, trim it down to 100, and then if you can, trim it down even further to 50. And usually you'll want to keep the keywords that are obviously making you money and sales. So go ahead and tread the fat. And when you're going to add, I have another video where I show you specifically how to add new keywords month after month, so that way you're always churning new keywords in your campaigns. But for the time being, audit your campaigns right now, and if you have 1,000 keywords, trim it down to your top 100, your top 50, and then from there, when the next month comes around, take out the keywords that are not working, and then add another 25, for example. All right, let's go to number 2. All right, so mistake number 2, and I'm not trying to make this training to be all doom and gloom. A lot of times with these videos of the top 5 mistakes, this and that, it has a negative demeanor, but use this information to empower you as an Amazon seller. So to get some of that negative vibe out of here, I just wanted to lay that foundation for you guys, right? You're learning what not to do. And so that's the point of this training. All right, so back to it. Number 2 is leverage the Amazon match types. They have phrase, broad, and exact, and you can also use auto. Use all match types, because when you're leveraging all match types, Amazon has all kinds of flavors and different combinations of keywords that sellers are typing in, and they have a very specific setup for broad, phrase, and exact, with exact being the most obvious. But you want to show up for all match types, because you might not even know it, but you might be more profitable with a phrase campaign than, let's say, a broad or exact, right? Just because of the way Amazon is looking for certain phrases, there is a potential flood of traffic that you need to tap into for every single match type. And what a lot of sellers, especially newer sellers, what a lot of sellers are doing is, you're just going based off of Amazon's recommendations. So what happens when you're creating a campaign through Amazon, right? Their default is going to be broad, and they're going to give you a string of keywords, right? They might have a few hundred keywords in there. And so all sellers are doing is they're adding all keywords and then starting the campaign and letting it run. And they're not diversifying enough. They're just going based off of Amazon's, suggestions, and all of those keywords, for one, might not be relevant to your product immediately, and 2, it's only one match type, right? So you're going to want to leverage all match types, and that's why I'm in the previous mistake, number 1, you want to trim that down to 100 to around 50 keywords, because you really start showing up in a lot of placements, for 100 keywords at different match types. All right, so without any confusion, it'll help you maximize your profitability and allow you to scale your sales. And the thing with leveraging match types is a lot of Amazon sellers usually only leverage one, maybe an auto or maybe just a broad campaign. But what you want to do is you want to show up everywhere possible, because if you're showing up everywhere possible, one, you're showing up in more placements than your top competitors, so therefore more sales. And two, if you're showing up in more places that, let's say, some of your competitors are not leveraging, in match types, then that traffic's going to be a lot cheaper. So you might even get cheaper phrase traffic than you would for exact or broad or any other of those combinations. So there is a potential gold mine of inexpensive traffic that you just need to tap into by simply adding another match type to your business. All right, let's go to number 3. All right, so PPC mistake number 3 is poor keyword research. Now, there are a ton of keyword research tools, and they all have their different perks and benefits. The one I always recommend, it's the only keyword tool I've ever recommended. It's the one we use at ZonRush. It's called Helium 10. I'll obviously have an affiliate link for you guys to check it out. And I have a ton of training where I show you how to do adequate PPC keyword research. That way you can always stay profitable in your campaign. So you can check out the link if you haven't already used Helium 10. And you can look at my PPC keyword research. If you could just go to my channel, type in PPC keyword research, you'll see all the videos where I show you in-depth tutorials and how to do that for your campaigns. But the reason why that you need a tool is because if you're just going based off of Amazon's suggested keywords, they have so many different words in there that are just jumbled up. Sometimes they don't even know how they come up with these suggested keywords. Some of them are pretty far out there, but if you're just using that, you're leaving a ton of cash on the table, because one, you need to look at keyword research because you need to optimize for volume. So you want to target keywords with healthy volume, but you also want to see how many competitors are targeting those keywords. And obviously, the more competitors that are targeting, X keywords, the more expensive that traffic is going to be. And that's why I love the tool Helium 10 for my keyword research, because it will break down, to the best of its ability, how much volume an estimate a certain keyword has, and how many competitors are targeting that with sponsored ads and headline search ads. So that information is power to you as an Amazon seller, because you can take that data and use, the top 50 keywords that have the highest sales volume, that have the highest search volume, and the least amount of competitors targeting those keywords. And then you can feed that optimal data into your Amazon PPC campaigns. I couldn't say that word, optimal. Into your PPC campaigns. That way your campaigns are strong right out the gate. And that's what you want to do. Auto campaigns are great, but sometimes they take time to, get the engines going. You need a few months of data before you can start feeding it into your manual campaigns. And using a PPC keyword software tool, it bypasses the auto campaigns completely, and it allows you to go straight to the data and plug that into your PPC campaigns. Now, they're not always going to be profitable, which is why you need, a list of keywords to continually churn out month after month. But you need a tool to show you what search volumes are and how many competitors are targeting those keywords. All right, let's get into number 4. All right, so PPC mistake number 4 is not optimizing for your optimal placements. Optimizing for optimal. You need to optimize for optimal placements, because if you're just letting Amazon put your products wherever, then odds are it's gonna, stale at some point. So at some point, your PPC campaigns are gonna get stagnant. So they'll be extremely profitable, but then you'll see sales and you'll see your ACoS just kind of stay still. It's not bad, but it's not really good if you want to continually, produce more revenue for your business. So the way you optimize out of that that stagnant place is by adjusting your placements, right? So I just went over a PPC training where I show you how to optimize and scale your campaigns. So you already have campaigns, they have at least 50 sales. Now it's time to start thinking about scaling those campaigns. And the trick is to scale without increasing your costs. So check out my previous video that I did on PPC training. I show you how to scale your business without scaling your cost. But that's essentially it for number 4, is you need to dig into the data, right? Look at the nitty-gritty data and see what are my optimal placements that have the highest click-through rate and the highest sales velocity. And you can also look at the ones that are most profitable for your business. But for the magnitude of this training and specifically, just go ahead and look at your placements and optimize the top bid adjustment, at least 20% of where you're making your most money. All right, so let's go to number 5. All right, so the very last mistake that Amazon sellers are making are they're not adjusting their bids frequently enough. Now, usually you'll want to adjust your bids at least once per week. Well, actually, I shouldn't say at least. You should be optimizing them once a week. And the reason for that is because, and this is just going based off the data that we're using in our own business, but more specifically data that ZonRush has access to. My company, ZonRush, we manage everywhere from 1 SKU. Our largest client has over 30,000 SKUs. We are looking at a ton of data. And what the data is showing is that the more frequently that you change the variables that you're feeding into Amazon's PPC algorithm, the more they have to work with to continually keep your campaigns profitable. And the reason for that is because you have to think about it this way. Every single day, Amazon is getting, people are adding new keywords to their campaigns. So one day you might have, less expensive clicks. The next day, maybe a competitor just added those match types or those keywords to their campaigns, and now they're also advertising for those specific keywords. And so if you just remain at the same bid, you don't know what your competitors are doing to optimize for sales. They could be optimizing for top of placement, rest of search, all product pages. And if you're not optimizing your bids and they're doing, 50%, 40%, up, down, then they're more attractive to Amazon because they're giving them more data to work off of. And when you give Amazon more data to work off of, and you're actively managing your PPC campaigns, then Amazon will reward you with more traffic because you're feeding it more variables to go off of. And that's what we're starting to see. The Amazon PPC campaigns, they've really changed. This algorithm that they're using for their bid auction, without going a little over the top with some of this information, is it's starting to get smarter. I don't know if they have an AI now in charge of this or what, but this entire PPC campaigns, they're getting smarter. So generally speaking, the longer you have a PPC campaign active, over time we're starting to see them do better and better. Very similar to the way the Facebook ad auction works now. It has an AI running it, and it's doing really good in that respect. So the way you're going to want to do this specifically is, I have a video where I show you, 1 week, raise your bids 20% above Amazon's suggested bid. And the next week, leave it at Amazon's suggested week. Then the following week after that, lower the bids 20% below Amazon's suggested bid. So you're optimizing for different price tiers. So in that 4th week, you'll clearly see what your optimal bid and sales velocities are going to be. So I do have a training where I actually write it out. It's going to be at the end of this video, so make sure you check out that training where I show you how to actually set up your PPC campaigns to optimize the bids correctly. And that's essentially it. And if you're very busy and you're an Amazon seller and you want to focus on building your product line instead of having to optimize all of these things individually, you should really check us out. ZonRush, we do have an AI software that does a ton of things for us that really allows us to take the manual work out of it, because adjusting campaigns manually slows down over time. And with our proprietary AI software, our software is literally adjusting bids on a daily basis. And then I have a PPC team that goes in once a week and adjusts the variables. But the software is doing most of the heavy lifting. So it allows us to scale campaigns because we're feeding data the way Amazon wants it. So if you want to check us out, if you want to experiment with a couple products here and there with us, go ahead and visit ZonRush. We'll be more than happy to help you. And we know exactly how to structure campaigns at scale. Okay. And if you haven't already, please join my private group. I'll have a link below. I'm going to be releasing a series of advanced PPC training exclusively in my private Facebook group. So you don't want to miss that. If you haven't already, join my private group. We would love to have you and be part of our tribe. But that concludes this video, guys. I'll see you on the next one.